What's up, you guys? It's Kuya E with Malusog here. For today's relationship pillar video, wanted to do something different. Here today with me is my lovely wife. One of the things we enjoy doing together is reacting to Reddit posts about relationships. And so wanted to bring that to you guys. Hope you enjoy. The best use out of this video is to hopefully watch it with your partner. It's meant to spark debate, conversation between you guys. So hopefully you like it. Let me know in the comments and hit like if you like this type of video. So without further ado, we have Reddit pulled up. This is going to be more like casual style video.
Yeah.
Less scripted than my normal ones. What to do with comfortable but stale relationship. Female 30, male 33, together for 10 years. I, female 30, think I may have fallen out of love with my partner, male 33, of 10 years. He hasn't changed and doesn't treat me poorly. I don't wish him ill will or want to hurt him, but I just really don't enjoy our shared time together anymore. I'm not ready to call it quits on the relationship yet. We share a home, financials, and are generally supportive of each other. And I know we probably need to bite the bullet and seek couples counseling. In the meantime, has anyone here revived a relationship that had gone really stale? What did you do? That's a good one. Any thoughts? I can jump in if you don't.
I think that best thing to do is maybe just, if you still want to save the relationship, just look within yourself and really trying to remember what qualities or what things that attracted to you, what qualities that attract you from the beginning, and see if it's still there, and maybe just talk to him about it. I don't know, like I'm trying to think of, like, maybe you were attracted to him because he was, I don't know, a runner. Like, maybe that's not the case, but let's say he loves running, right? That was his thing. And you're like, wow, this person is very consistent and I'm attracted to him. And maybe he stopped doing that. And then just kind of reignite those small things between you and him. Like, maybe discuss about your hobbies with him, or discuss about his hobbies with you, and communicate where you both are emotionally at. I think that will help reignite that passion, that attraction between the two. Because if the relationship is something you not want to save it anymore, then I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you go on your own way. But
you and I were talking about this last night. Just the concept of there might be an idea people have getting into marriage. They, at the forefront of their mind, the focus is being attractive to the other, to the opposite sex.
mm-hmm.
But for some reason, when you get married or settle down, I think a lot of people just have a shift
Mm-hmm.
of like, well, now it's just maintenance mode. Now, and maybe the other person should just like me for me. I know I've had that mentality before, and I think a lot of people have that. And that's just my initial thoughts. And I think when people do that, they stop doing the things that made them attractive in the first place, kind of like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So if this guy was a runner, maybe he, I don't know, stopped running.
Yeah.
Or if...
Or doesn't it have to be something big? It can be something like, I don't know, he wears certain style clothes when you both were still dating, but now he's just wearing like dad clothes, or dad clothes not a bad thing. It's just like maybe baggy clothes or things that doesn't really make him attractive anymore. Yeah. It's not really the physical. It's more like, what is it that you individual do to show that you still care about you yourself? that alone makes a person like attractive.
Hmm.
And I think over time when you're in a relationship, that qualities kind of dissipate, or like you kind of lose that along the way because you think other things are more important. But I think they're all like ties together like that.
In your opinion, who does it first normally? Who stops? The guy or the girl?
That's a good question, but it's hard to pinpoint. I think that a little bit of both side,
Hmm.
like a vicious cycle. Like, oh, I'm a little more comfortable now, so maybe I don't wear makeup as much. I don't dress up as much. And then the guy on his end also like, oh, I'm a little more comfortable now, so I don't have to try harder to maybe be a leader or like be someone that she was attracted to. I don't know
Hmm.
what that would be, right? But I think it's human nature, and that applies to both male and female, women and men,
Hmm.
because when we feel comfortable, right, at a certain environment, we have the tendency to just kind of chillax or relax or not really trying hard. And that applies to this scenario.
Hmm.
And I think being in a relationship, you kind of have to be mindful because it's very easy to be like that.
Yeah.
Like there are periods of time in our relationship where I've definitely have done that, where I'm like, oh, like he loves me. Why do I have to take care of myself, right? But it's more than that, It's also reminding yourself too, like, hey, you should really take care of yourself, love yourself. You are still a valuable person like that.
Hmm.
Um, where
To
was
go
it?
off of that, I think I too have gone through periods of time in our relationship where I let myself go physically. I was drinking. I talk a lot about this on Malusog, obviously, and just wasn't as attentive to you as I should have been. But I was gonna say, I think this concept of my partner should just like me for me, maybe that's a dangerous thought. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it
What is that? Like, oh, they should just like me for me. Like, where does that come from?
I think that can, I think take that saying for, what is it?
Grain of salt?
Grain of salt.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it for a,
Himalayan salt. I like, yeah,
yeah.
the pink one. With less calories.
I think
Anyway, it's not a fitness video, but
I think that there's some truth to it, but you don't just fully be like, oh, like he loved me for who I am, therefore I can just be a potato, and it will be okay like
hmm.
that. Because I think love shouldn't be this fairy tale thing. It comes from a lot of effort, a lot of constant like watering for it to grow, and that it means taking care of yourself. And taking care of yourself also means taking care of your partner, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know where
Yeah.
I'm going with it.
Yeah, well, it's more like a rhetorical question. I
Yeah.
think I think it's just it's a dangerous thought because how most people interpret it is like, well, now I can relax. Like now I can
Yeah.
let things slide that I normally didn't, and then it's like I said, it's like a vicious cycle because that phrase that people that are together for a long time tend to look like each other, not like physically per se, but it's just the way they act, the way they take
Carry
care of
themselves.
themselves, don't take care of themselves, and it kind of
Yeah.
just ultimately feeds to each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah. But why don't we end this post? What would your advice be for this particular lady?
Yeah. I say like best would just kind of like engage on conversation, and I think like the whole thing of, oh, we lost sparks, that there's no sparks between us, therefore we should go on fancy dinner, therefore we should do like more vacation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or do extravagant things. Like I don't think those are necessary, because you're not fixing the damaged connection between you two, and that's in the emotional level. And I think like if you have that kind of thing where we don't even want to talk to each other, or we don't even have feelings or attraction to each other, then it's really time to sit down and just kind of like engage on an emotional level. Like, what are you feeling? It's like, what have you been up to? Like, what are your smallest goals, or how do you even want to improve in certain things?
Mm-hmm.
That alone, just keep talking about that, and you will discover that you have not you will discover that you don't know your partner as much as you used to, because I think that we are growing even when we're not doing much, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't keep in touch with where your feelings are at, where your tiny goals, or even little things that you both are going through, you're not going to know the other person. Like 10 years from now, you're like, I don't even know who I'm living with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know their face, their name, I know their certain behaviors, but I don't know them on an emotional level. And I think that be able to check with your partners constantly on their emotional level, that's how you keep the sparks like alive.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's how you still know this person like deep down, like who they are, like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I think that's what I would attack if I were her. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, or that's how I would attack it. But.
Yeah. I think when she uses the word stale, I think stale is like, it's like with food, like there's no flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with humans, like we're just naturally meant to overcome adversity. And so maybe there's not like much like that. Maybe there in their relationship there hasn't been so much like adversity. But you can manufacture that. Like you can come up with maybe some goal that means both it's something important to you guys, and then you can go after that. Or kind of more what you said, maybe there's a lack of depth with these people, because if you really know somebody and you get to know what their demons are, what they're fearful of, what's holding them back, what are things that they want to accomplish that they have kept themselves. There's a whole universe of things like that. And I think maybe, I'm just assuming this relationship, they maybe check all the boxes, like they go to dinner, they watch a movie, they do all these things, but there's no flavor. It's stale.
Because
So
I definitely have friends that like have similar relationship, right? Like relationship didn't go so well with their exes, of course. Relationship didn't go so well. They go to couple therapy, going on vacation, and that still didn't save their relationship. And why is that? They're trying. It's not like they didn't try. But I think what's missing is just that deep connection of knowing your flaws, your demons, like you said, or negative thoughts or positive thought, and then kind of like help each other grow out of that. That really built that connection between the two of you, I think.
let's move on. Next one. Wife 30 female suddenly wants divorce from me, 34 male. Hi there, everyone. I just need a little help with everything that is happening to me. My wife was the love of my life. We have a 4-year-old boy and have been together 12 years. I had never really thought we had any issues. Suddenly, a few months ago, she came back from a trip and told me she thinks she wants to separate. It was completely out of left field. Really? And after talking it out, it seemed like she wanted to stay and figure it out. Her reasoning then was she is allergic to our cats,
What?
which we have had for 14 years. That took a turn. I told her...
Just get rid of the cat.
Yeah.
That's so
I
funny.
told her I would get rid of the cats,
Oh my God.
who I literally consider my babies.
Oh,
But she said it wasn't necessary and that we
I
could
don't
put
think
them
the
upstairs.
cat was the issue.
Then a few weeks later, she was consistently texting a male coworker,
That's
23 male
probably the
single,
issue.
often sexually, and I called her out. She continued to, and then at a point said she would stop. She kept doing it. I tried to put my foot down and say if we want to work on this marriage, it needs to stop. She said she would not stop her friendship with the guy. She admitted it had crossed into an emotional affair territory. Yeah, it's not about the cats.
I know.
Anyway,
Poor cat.
the cat is a scapegoat.
Poor cat.
Anyway, in a fight, I asked if he is the reason our marriage is going to end, and she said she never wanted it in the first place. She doesn't think. Dang. My entire world feels like it is crashing down. I never wanted kids as early as we did. I was completely pressured into it, and now he is going to have divorced parents. I just hate myself, the world, her. I don't know how to continue from here. I'm just destroyed and hurt. I get that it is probably normal from a breakup or divorce, but she had promised to love me unconditionally, and I just feel so betrayed. What can I even do?
Hey. Wow.
Let me read this again. So 12 years together. He thought there's never any issues. There's cats, diabolical cats, and most notably a male coworker, 23, single.
That's that goes back
processing this.
to the topic I was talking about, getting in touch with the emotion thing. I think it doesn't seem like they talk about that very much, because she said I didn't want to, but I was pressured to, right? That means there's not a lot of talking to where she's comfortable and agreed upon doing whatever that is. Sound like she was holding resentment for this decision that was made for all these time in their relationship. And the coworker is probably just something that encourages her to want to make this move of divorcing the husband. But yeah, this is exactly what I meant. It's like if you've been with someone for 10, 20 years, but don't really get connected in a deep level, then it's very easy for it to be like that, like shocking news of, oh my gosh, you want to divorce me? Like, what the hell? I thought we had a great thing, right? And guys, stop being so ignorant about the females' feelings sometimes. No.
What do you mean by that?
Well, like, I think that, well, can't really blame that onto, guys when they don't have that.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I
like,
appreciate
I'm
your
just,
perspective.
right, I'm just saying, like, that can't, it's
To help
kind of
maybe
like,
educate.
right, it's kind of like if you're someone who don't have peripheral vision, then it's kind of hard to change that, but like, I think girls will always give you hint, right? Maybe like a subtle distance from her, like she doesn't get as cuddly with you if you both are like cuddly couple, or she get more silence than normal, or she snaps more than normal, or she's nagging more than normal, or like sighing more than normal. Those are little signs saying like she's not content in the relationship, and those are signs that you should pick up on, and then kind of talk to her like, what's going on? Like, are you having certain kind of feelings about the relationship, and we can talk about it, or is there anything that I can help you through this, whatever you're feeling. And she may be like, oh, nothing, or like I don't want to talk about it, or something like that. You can always leave the door open of, okay, well, I'm always here whenever you're ready to talk about it. And then maybe ask her a few more times, like after that, next day, following days. Be persistent, like how if you're trying to date her, same thing. Like how if you're trying to understand her emotion, like it's the same thing. Like you don't wait until, because all these like nagging and talking to you, like if it doesn't go anywhere, she'll just keeping those, and you know what the next thing is? Oh, divorce. And you know what, guy, that's the only thing that will probably nudge the guy, right? Like meltdown or divorce. Those are when the guy was like, oh, we're in trouble. Okay, like, but that's already like at the tip of the iceberg, you know? So be aware of those little hints with your partner. And that's why like the emotional check-in is so important. And you don't have to check in, you don't have to only check in when there's problems. Like you can always check in like, hey, like just want to hug you, and then asking how's your day, or like you
Yeah.
have anything out of your day that you want to tell me, or anything new
Mm-hmm.
with you, even though we're seeing each other all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Still ask, because there might be like new emotion that she's experiencing that she's not telling you,
Yeah.
right?
It's funny because my wife, she sighs a lot. And
I have a lot of other things, but yeah.
yeah. But that's so true. And this guy, I'm sure he's a good guy, but maybe oblivious, because when a guy says like, I thought, what did he say in the beginning? I had never really thought we had any issues, no issues.
Yeah.
Like, so from female perspective, on any given day, is there any day that you have absolutely no issues with any part of your life?
That's always issue.
There's always issue.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not that issue is your husband or the boyfriend.
Yeah.
I think that is, from a guy's perspective, that is of the highest concern. And that kind of goes to show, like, maybe he's not very familiar with how women think and things like this. Women are, from what I've learned, more emotional creatures. And there's always something that maybe is upsetting, or maybe not necessarily upsetting. It's just like a certain degree of like emotional reaction. Discomfort. And so what I assume this relationship is, in his head, there's no big arguments, there's no thing, but there's also probably not a lot of like talking that actually connects. And then he doesn't, like, even on the day, like, oh, hey, what are you thinking about? Like, what's been going on today? Talk to me. Things like this. For 12 years. I don't get why guys and just people in general, they'll say this time thing. Like, we've been together for X amount of years, 10 years, 12 years. But if that whole time it's just like you just sitting there and then
Just
not really
existing.
connecting, just existing, that doesn't really mean
A lot,
anything.
yeah.
It's more like quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of guys need to hear what you just said, which is, if you're, as a guy, if you're not in tune like daily, and this, I'm not even talking about like weekly, monthly, daily, because in one day, from a female perspective, emotionally speaking, there's so much that can happen.
Yeah, especially with the kids. Like, single parents are something else, but like if you have a kids involved, someday it can get so overwhelmed. And I'm so appreciative of you. Sometimes, like, I get so overwhelmed, and my kid's like throwing a tantrum, and I just want to like scream, right? But
We have a 2.5-year-old daughter, by the way.
so sometimes she can get a lot. And then when that happened, I'm just kind of like, okay, go over there. Mommy needs some time. Things like that. It's already like a key word for him to be like,
We need to
okay,
talk about
take
it.
over the kids or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that. And then, and if that goes on for a while, and after the meltdown of my child, it's done, then we kind of reassess, like, are you okay? Like, is there anything you want to talk about, or things like that? And so, and if you're, like I said, if it's just like this thing of, I don't have a good peripheral vision, then what you can do to avoid these kind of things is just ask every day. Like, like hug, asking, how are you doing today? Is there anything new with you that you'd like to share? Something like that. If you're not in tune with the things she said, or when she's nagging, or when she's sighing, or things like that is not like intuitive to you, then ask every day. Those will prevent a lot of that. Yeah.
And think of it like this: if you don't become that source, she will
She'll-
find another
yeah,
source,
she'll look at someone
whether
else.
it's one of her girlfriends,
That's exactly the situation.
or this guy.
Yeah.
I think it has less to do with, he's young, maybe he's even better looking than you, but that's not even what I think he's more skilled at than you, the poster, is the listening
Yeah.
and making her feel like she has a space to
And
open up.
and it's easier to do that when you're not in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, how the coworker and their relationship, it's easier for the coworker to be like, I'm fully attention to, like, I'm fully paying attention to you, doing all these things that makes you feel like, wow, you're so special, all that, right? It's easy to do that, but and it's harder to do that when you're in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But like anything else, you just practice and getting used to it.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I'll say is, from what I've learned about women, still learning every day, it takes a lot for a woman to be like, I want to divorce this guy. It's
Yeah.
not, right? Like, it's not something that, like, it's on a whim.
For most women, yeah, I can't speak for all women, but I think for most women, I think it has to have enough elements. There are certain, like, every woman has different checklists, right? But the checklist on the macro level is very similar. And once all of those boxes, like, check, then
Baby monitor.
9 out of 10, they want to leave the relationship. So, yeah. But
Yeah.
it does take quite a lot for a woman to want to get up and leave the relationship, especially if you have children together. But yeah.
Yeah.
But not all women, you know. I don't really know. Can't speak for all of them. But
So what's your advice to
this guy.
Mr. Katz?
And I feel bad for his cat and him.
That's so random, the cat.
I don't want to tell him there's no hope. But like, I would advise him, the best thing to do is, if he wants to fight for the relationship and want to keep the relationship, is don't tell her that he's gonna try to improve whatever that was missing, that was not giving to her emotionally, right? What he should be doing is just doing those things, acting on those things that that was emotionally attracted to her, right? If she felt like she was not heard or was pressured to do a lot of things in the relationship, then he needs to practice in doing less of those and showing her more of results and things that he has improved on those areas, right? It's not enough information for me to kind of know and give advice, I think. On the surface, it sounds like it's a lot of information, but on the emotional level, like, I don't really see a lot of that. Because from his perspective, it's just a lot of nothing. Like, they didn't really have any problem. All of a sudden, she went divorced because she met this guy at work. That's it. And the only explanation he gave from her end was she felt like she was forced and pressured to have kids when she didn't really want to. So that speaks volume in that particular phrase that she said. It means that there's a lot of things she feels that she compromised in the relationship, like a lot, even by like just the fact that she talked about her having her child was a pressure to have the child. She probably felt like she doesn't have a lot of choices in that relationship. So I think that would be the first step, if assuming he's trying to save the relationship and he's okay with he's okay with the fact that she have talked to some other guy before and not bringing that up in the future to, like, you know, throw it in her face when there's argument type of thing. Yeah, the best way to go is maybe to provide her with a safe space emotionally, if that's what's lacking in the relationship. Yeah.
I think he has two options. First would be to accept she's already 1 foot out the door.
Yeah.
And it is too late. And maybe he should just move on. The second is, if you do want to keep her, you now have to act as if like it's in the beginning stages, like you're dating, and let's say you have to act like this coworker at work is a
competitor.
a guy that she has already been talking to. So just like imagine like a different universe where she is already, like, before you met her, she is already talking to this guy and they already have connection, and then you come in and, you know, she is interested in you, but you are just starting to talk to her. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So you have to play this competing game. There's going to be a lot of having to swallow pride and reflect, talk about hard things. It's still possible. It's just if that's the game that you choose to play, that's what the obstacles will you face.
I agree. I think if he's trying to win her back, I think he'll have to play the field of I'm competing to win her back in the sense of she's in this dating phase because she now feel like a single lady
Yeah.
who is getting attention from other male also. But one thing he have is that they had a longer relationship. They had some kind of connection as opposed to this newer guy. So she still have a lot more invested emotion with him than this new guy. So that's one thing he's still like up on. But he has to play it right. Like he can't just be like, well, you know, I'm still your husband and I'm still like, you should still listen to, or like, yeah, that card won't work.
Yeah.
On the emotional level.
Yeah.
Because that will only push her further out. Yeah.
But
good luck.
I was gonna say I do feel for this guy.
Yeah.
So
That sucks.
if you happen, it'd be so weird if he ended up watching this. Best of luck to you, and I hope, you know, no matter what happens, is you can find something to resolve it.
Yeah.